Hello, a very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My good name is Avanso Kinyi, and I'm always glad to bring you up to date with comprehensive analysis of all that is taking place in our country, Kenya, here, and of course across our borders. I'm here with Wakili Willis Otieno, of course. He's here, constitutional lawyer. Wakili, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Something strange is taking place in the corridors of justice in this country. A record 7 times. The acting Inspector General of Police, Masingeli, has refused to appear before a court of law. And of course, recently, he's been found guilty of attempt of court. Of course, we are waiting for sentencing to take place. But then, what does this tell you? What does this reveal about our police system or our judicial system? What is actually taking place here? Because are there people who are untouchable in this country?
Start by calling that gentleman convict Masengeli. That is what he is. Okay. He's a convict. He has been convicted by a court of law. He is a convict. He should be wearing black and white robes. He's been convicted.
Okay.
He's waiting to be sentenced, which is coming on Friday. And I pray the court sentence him to a custodial sentence, to be taken to committee or industrial area, to go and serve his sentence. As a convict, he's a convict. Whenever you mention that man's name, call him convict Masengeli. That is who he is. He's not acting IG Masengeli. He's called convict Masengeli because he's been convicted by a court of law, following the due process of the law. We should not give people titles they don't deserve. But call people by their right titles.
There's conviction.
He is convicted. No. He is convicted. Convicted means the process of the law has been taken. Okay. He has been found guilty and convicted. He is a convict. What he's waiting for is sentencing. Whether he's going to be fined or going to be given a custodial sentence. I pray for a custodial sentence. Disobeying 7 court orders, that aggravates the offense. And the court should give the most punitive of sentences available. For each time you disobey the court order, you should receive the maximum sentence for contempt, 6 months. 6 months times 6, that is 36 months. He belongs to committee. If not committee, Manyani. If not Manyani, Naivasha maximum. If not Naivasha maximum, Kodiaga in Kisumu. That is where convict Masengeli belongs. And when we discuss Masengeli, call him as a convict.
Okay. Because
our legal process, our constitution, and its institutions have convicted him. He is now a convict. Now the question of how he will serve his sentence, where he will serve his sentence, that we wait. And Masengeli, convict Masengeli should not think he's above the law. The law will catch up with him. I always tell people about my experience with the DCI Kinoti. Okay. He was also beating his chest, that's like this one is beating his chest. That he's busy fighting criminals, he's busy with his official duties, he can't attend to court. He was convicted. He appeared to court to mitigate after conviction. He was sentenced to 4 months imprisonment. Kinoti is crying as I'm talking to you. He is pleading. He is begging the Court of Appeal to save him. His day is also coming. This conviction exists whether you are in office or out of office. The sentence will continue. And going forward, Masengeli can beat his chest as much as he wants. But the convict will have to serve the sentence that is going to be imposed on him. He may think that Ruto will save him today, but tomorrow he'll be out of that office. We will effect a citizen's arrest on him.
Why are you saying that he may think that Ruto may save him? Why is the president getting in here? Because
look at the oath of office of the president.
Okay.
His duty is to uphold, defend the constitution. Okay? He is the commander-in-chief. He is the head of the executive. The police fall under the executive. Ruto is the one who should be dragging convict Masengeli to court to be sentenced. Why has not done so?
Isn't the National Police Service an independent institution?
Independent institution, but interdependent with government. It serves within the executive. right?
Is it the mandate of the president to be dragging him to
He
the
is the head of the institution. If you are the head of an institution and somebody who is within that institution is being convicted, and you have a responsibility under the Constitution, your oath of office was for you to defend and to uphold the Constitution and the rule of law. Then as the head, you have a higher responsibility to make sure that everybody complies with the law. And if somebody who is answerable to you, William Ruto is the chairman of the National Security Council, where convict Masengeli sits, he has a responsibility to tell him, get out of this meeting.
Okay.
He has a duty to ask the other service commanders to arrest the convict and take him to court to deal with the law. That is when we will be saying Ruto is upholding the Constitution.
Okay.
So as it is, he is guilty by failure to act. He is as guilty as convict Masengeli. And the time will come when convict Masengeli will be invited to serve his sentence. Let him not think he's there forever.
Okay.
We've seen many IGs, by the way. He's not the first acting IG. Neither is he the last. IGs come and go. Who knew Kikome will leave office? Who knew Ndegwa Moro will leave office? Who knew Mutiambai will leave office? Who knew Kome will leave office? Who knew Kimayo will leave office? Who knew Boynet will leave office? So what is convict Masengeli? He will leave.
Okay.
Why are you worried about someone who is just
Okay.
he's just there for a few days or some? You will go. And the law is there. The Constitution of Kenya will not go. Convict Masengeli will come and go, but the Constitution of Kenya is here to stay beyond our lives. It will outlive all of us.
Okay.
So convict Masengeli should get ready for his day with destiny. This act of contempt of court, disobeying court orders. So which law and order is he maintaining? If he's number one purveyor of misrule, he is the number one contemner of the rule of law. Why? What law and order is it? What else is he doing out there?
Okay.
You can just imagine how rogue that man is.
And that is a question we're asking here. But then I want us to get into what actually brought this guy, the acting Inspector General of Police, into the kind of situation that he's in right now. Those abductions in Kitengela which have not been accounted for, these people are, we are not actually aware of where they are right now. But then here we are. Do you think that perhaps the CS of internal security here should actually bear the biggest responsibility, as opined by Ahmed Nasir? I saw him say that Kithure Kindiki should also be answerable for these abductions.
Of course, Kithure Kindiki bears political responsibility for the abductions. He's the one who is the policy head of the ministry that has rogue officers who are perpetuating these illegal acts. So he bears political responsibility. And one thing that Kithure Kindiki, Bungei, convict Masengeli, Sang, and all these officers who are doing these illegal things, one thing they must know, the law will catch up with them. Because the patterns that I'm witnessing as a legal practitioner, the things that I'm witnessing now in the country, the patterns are now ready. They are now leading to what is called crimes against humanity. These are now international crimes. They are moving beyond the domestic realm. And you will soon, very soon see proceedings against Kithure Kindiki, Bungei, Masiangali, Koome, who are people who are exercising a command or command responsibility or a high command over these particular officers who are doing these illegal things. And they've taken no action for redress. We have over 300 Kenyans from suggested numbers that have died. We have more than 500 Kenyans who've been disappeared from the suggestions, numbers we are getting, reports we are getting. So you don't have to wait for the numbers to get to 10,000 or to 1,000 for you to say that these are crimes against humanity. When Ruto and Uhuru were taken to The Hague, the recorded deaths were 1,300. We have now gotten a third of that number, those who've been killed. And they're still killing people, they're still disappearing people. Forced disappearances are recognized under international law. Killings, abductions, rapes, as crimes against humanity. And what is the difference with what is going on here? And they are being done to a scale that you are seeing they are targeted and organized to target a particular group of people. Those who are perceived to hold a counter review to the Kenya Kwanza failed administration.
No, make me understand this. You see, we've seen this script before. We've come from, of course, in the recent past, we've lost a number of lives. We've come from a situation whereby Kenyans are actually killed on the streets, because I was there on 25th of June when that young man was shot dead just in front of Parliament that day when Kenyans breached Parliament. But so far, no police officer has been held to account. Do you think that there is this sort of perpetuation of impunity is what actually maybe gives our police officers the kind of guts that they have to do some of this?
That is why I'm saying the fact that no action has been taken against those officers, those who bear the command responsibility over the units, over the police service, and I've named them. At the time it was Koome, Kidiki was there, Bungei was there. These were the commanders. They bear the high responsibility. They are culpable under the doctrine of command responsibility. And the crimes that they've been committed by these units that they are in command of constitute crimes against humanity. Don't be surprised when one day you see a warrant of arrest issued from any jurisdiction in the world. Not just ICC. It can come from any jurisdiction. Somebody will just file a case somewhere in Spain or in Botswana, and warrants of arrest will be issued because we have what is called the universal jurisdiction principle, where nations of the world have in their own laws recognized that we cannot keep quiet when crimes against humanity are committed. And we are now witnessing what is called a proactive approach by nations to say, even if the crimes are committed outside our jurisdiction, even if those crimes don't involve our nationals, but we owe humanity a responsibility to take action. So the doctrine of universal jurisdiction is now being applied. And nations are moving proactively to say, if within a particular country, crimes against humanity are being committed, and there is no recourse or no redress within the legal framework of that country, as a country, you can come to our courts, and we will invoke the universal jurisdiction principle, and we will hold these people accountable. So these people that I'm mentioning, to them, they've marked their future. No one will forget. The internet has documented the history of what they've done. The evidence is there. The deaths of these Gen Zs and other Kenyans was not in vain. It was recorded. We are not in 1970 when Khmer Rouge in Vietnam will commit these kinds of crimes and no one had the records. No one had the evidence. Now, the record is there. The pictures are there. The postmortem reports are there. The images are there for all of us to see the deployment of those policemen and how they shot innocent civilians. These are crimes against humanity, and even if the individual who pulled the trigger may not be identified, but the commander of the units are known. They hold public offices. They will bear the command responsibility for the actions by these rogue officers who are under their control and command.
When questioned why he did not resign during that particular moment, of course, this was during his vetting for reappointment as the CS of Interior here. The CS, Professor Kithure Kindiki, said that he only deals with the policy issues here, and that the rest of operations are done with the officers on the ground, and therefore he does not actually have that kind of responsibility, and therefore should not have resigned. For somebody who, of course, a constitutional lawyer and a professor at that, what do you make of his sentiment?
As he deals with the policy issues of the ministry, one of the policies should be to make sure that the unit functions within the law. That's a policy issue. Have you given a policy direction to the unit to make sure that whatever they do in terms of policing is done within the parameters of the law? And have you issued a policy to make sure that if there's any unit or any officer within a unit that has acted in a manner that is contrary to the law, have you put in place mechanisms to make sure that that particular officer is identified and prosecuted? He has not.
Okay.
That is how he bears a command responsibility. He is in charge of that ministry. He was actually, in fact, by his own admission, he is in charge of the policy formulations in that ministry. So we will take it, that was a policy of that unit. It was a policy of that ministry for the policemen to go and kill the innocent young Kenyans. And he will bear responsibility. Kithure Kindiki should just wait now to see the next, second image. His first image was at The Hague as a lawyer representing accused persons. Now, he should get ready to be a defendant, to be an accused, from lawyer to accused. A lawyer defending someone who is charged for crimes against humanity to now become an accused person, accused of committing crimes against humanity, or superintending over the commission of crimes against humanity and failing to take action. I am telling you, what I love about criminal law, and most international criminal law, there is no limitation of action. Go to Argentina, go to Germany. 95-year-olds are being dragged from their retirement homes to spend the rest of their lives going through courts. And they're even being convicted for crimes which were committed in 1945. So these people, they've marked their future. They've marked their future. The future is now known. All these people I've mentioned to you will end up in a court, either here locally or internationally. They are going to court. The question is only when. Because they've defined it. They may enjoy the perks of power today and of high office.
Okay.
But their day with destiny, their destiny is defined. I don't know my destiny. But at least them, they know their destiny. Their destiny is to end up in court and to serve sentence. Enhanced sentences of almost 60 years imprisonment, even if they will be 60 years old or 80 years old. Add 60 years of imprisonment to their lives.
When asked about the same back then in an interview with the members of the Fourth Estate, President William Ruto said that he's not aware of any abductees and that there's no information that is privy to him that would actually indicate that there have been abductions in this country. Do you think that now that these things are taking place and these people are missing and we are having cases of forced disappearances, that the president also holds some sort of responsibility to the Kenyan people and must also be answerable to them with regards to what is taking place?
Is there somebody who still believes William Ruto when he speaks in this country? I mean, that guy lies all the time. Do anybody believe him? I don't think anybody believes William Ruto.
That is the president.
Yeah, what makes you kind of a lying president? We have one right now.
Okay.
So, what's the big deal? I mean, that is William Ruto. Everybody knows William Ruto is a liar. Even kids, when they're playing at home, the liar is assigned to William Ruto. So who believes William Ruto anymore? He's a liar. That's factual.
Okay.
Then no one's going to argue over. So give him his flowers of a liar. He is a liar par excellence.
So what do you expect of him as a president?
So even him, when these investigations are completed, even him, he is on the throne of being dragged back to ICC. He will be dragged back to ICC. Who bore the ultimate responsibility for these killings? The arrow will point right at him. And he knows what he went through during the last ICC experience.
Okay.
The way he's going, is staring back to the same experience with these forced disappearances, kidnappings, abductions, and killings.
You've been in the case involving the case of Baby Pendo, all those police officers who were involved back then. How is the progress of that particular case?
We are having those policemen taking plea. They are going to take plea on the 3rd of October, 2024, here in Nairobi. 11 commanders are going to take plea. They are charged with crimes against humanity under the International Crimes Act, the equivalent of the Rome Statute. Theirs will be here in Kenya. We will be there. So even these ones who are doing it, the courts are there. You know, the courts will never go anywhere. It is us who may go, but the courts will always be there. So those commanders, even those who are being charged in the Baby Pendo and other atrocities committed in Nyalenda, Nyamasari and Obunga. These are commanders. They may not be the ones who pulled the actual trigger or who clobbered Baby Pendo's head to death. 2 months old baby. Beaten to death in her mother's house with a baton till she died. She broke her skull and died. The individual officer, we may not know who he is, but the commander of the unit is in court.
Okay.
They've tried all legal somersaults to try to delay, and they've tried for a year since the time when the charges were approved. They've tried delaying. They've filed all manner of applications before the High Court and petitions. Those applications have been heard. We've fended them off, and their petitions were dismissed. Now, we are all set for the 3rd of October for them to take plea for crimes against humanity. That is the standard. And I urge any police commander in the country today, just go and look at that file. Go and read that file. When you are being sent to commit these crimes against humanity, when your units go rogue, just go and read the Baby Pendo file. It is there in the court. It's a publicly available document. Just go and read it. And ask yourself if that is how you want to end your retirement. It doesn't hurt to just conduct your policing activity or duties within the purviews of the law. But this rogueness that you are witnessing, that file is there. Unless you're a daredevil or a suicide bomber, you believe, to you, I'm going to kill people and I'll die at the end of it. It's fine then. But we will go for your family. Because in crimes against humanity, there's the question of reparations to victims. So even that which you think you're going to leave to your family, we will seek to have it confiscated and the proceeds to be distributed to the victims and their families. So any police commander who decides that they are going to conduct policing in a manner that leads to committing crimes against humanity, we will make sure that we erase your memory and the memory of your family. Whatever loot you've collected, we will go for it in reparations and have it distributed. If you cannot access the Baby Pendo file, go to Argentina. There are so many files in Argentina of people who are involved in the genocide. And you are seeing how they are being traced. 90-year-olds are being traced and dragged to court, and their property confiscated. Your day with destiny will come.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Wakili here says that there is no escape route for the rogue police officers whom we've witnessed undertake certain extrajudicial actions in this country. No one is above the law. But how true is that statement in this particular country? Now that remains the bigger question, and our eyes are still set here. We're here to see what happens next. And we are also waiting to see what happens to the Acting Inspector General of Police, General Masengeli, who has decided to snap going to court a record 7 times. Ladies and gentlemen, if at all you're watching us for the first time, kindly subscribe to this channel here, and of course stay tuned to some of our programs that will be coming up next. Jadiel Kabiru is always here, Richard Mwenja, as well as Professor Herman Manyora. All these are part of this great family. Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okenyi.